I want to start out the segment today with a special guest. We've all been hearing about for the past week or so what's been going on in Houston. And being that the Taste covers each week our culinary, hospitality, dining community, a lot of the restaurants that I've talked to locally have told me how much they're concerned about their fellow restaurateurs, their families, and people that work down in that area. So I was fortunate enough to be able to connect with a group down there. And I have with me on a live Skype video Sean joining me from the Hugo's in Houston, right? You're right in Hugo's right now, Sean?
Yep.
So Sean is the beverage director, and the HTown restaurant group is the group that he's from, and they've got a number of restaurants. So from what I understand so far down there is that looking at the community that's going on with the restaurant situation is it looks like better than 65% of the restaurants are closed right now. Does that seem accurate to you, Sean?
Yeah, it's a lot of the operations are far from getting ready to be open, and not just because of flood damage. There's limited access to staff. A lot of communities still can't quite get on the road safely and get out. We've got a curfew going on in the city for at least the next 2 days.
So the restaurants, all of your restaurant group, how many restaurants do you have in the group? I know it's a Hugo group that you have. How many are there?
So I work for Chef Hugo Ortega and Tracy Vaught of the HTown restaurant group. We have 4 regular restaurants, Hugo's, Backstreet Cafe, Caracol, and Sochi in different parts of the city. We're also partners with a restaurant at the Texas Medical Center called Third Coast. And we have a restaurant at the airport that we're partners in as well.
So literally all of your restaurants were affected by this in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, knock on wood, we've been fortunate that they didn't actually sustain physical damage other than some minor leaks. But, you could make the argument that us, like a lot of restaurants, are under assault by the conditions and the state of the city. And,
right.
We're fighting with that. And at the same time, trying to fight for our community in any form of charity and cooking that we can do.
So in talking about that and fighting the conditions, I mean, the rain has started to subside today a little bit. They said the sun was coming out a little bit for you down there?
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky. Like I said, we've only had a few staff members that I know about, so we're starting to get them back in, and we've been able to open 3 of our 4 restaurants today. And doing that while at the same time trying to cook for first responders, to cook and send food out to charity shelters, get product from some vendors that may or may not be open yet. So it's a lot of juggling right now.
Right.
It's a lot of nervousness. It's a lot of hope that the situation's getting better, that the water's abating, that the levees are going to hold. I mean, the life of a restaurateur in general is filled with a lot of stress.
Right.
But during this particular situation, it's even more stressful, I would say.
So Sean, have all of your employees been safe? Everyone that's been accounted for and you've been able to talk to throughout the group?
We were able to keep in touch with all our staff throughout the event. So we've heard from all of them. A lot of them have been, starting to able to come in. We've had a few that have had water damage. There's a few that are still not able to get out of their neighborhood but are safe. So from that standpoint, we are, utterly thrilled, and I think that's a testament to the city of Houston and our government and our communities that so many people have managed to stay safe throughout this.
No, absolutely. And talking about the additional challenges, if you've got those employees that are going to have to be in their homes for a little while, it cuts down on your ability to staff, but also from a sense of not just staffing, but keeping the restaurant supplied. I mean, a lot of what we're seeing nationally is that the roads are closed, your airport's been closed. I got to imagine there's only a certain amount of time before you run out of product to be able to do what you're even doing now.
Yeah, that's a really tough thing. Obviously, we planned as best as we could last week in terms of knowing that the storm was coming, mitigating orders, not bringing in too much fresh seafood, using the product you had at house. But, as soon as we were able to get open, or even before we were able to get open, several of our staff members, our director of operations, myself, got it as soon as we could to find out what we could use. That first day, a lot of that food that was still good, we were able to produce and send out to first responders. But yeah, economically, it's a huge burden on restaurants. I mean, no one's not going to, in general, people are not as concerned about restaurants, but we provide a huge labor force.
Absolutely.
The financial profits of running a restaurant are always difficult in the best of times, so they're especially difficult during these times. And then trying to encourage your audience to come in and eat and support you and your staff is also difficult. I mean, you have to walk a very narrow line of encouraging to come in so that you can have some sort of income coming in for you and your staff, while also doing the things you're trying to do on the other side to support the community. And I have nothing but respect for the restaurants in our area that are doing that right now, but it's a very difficult thing.
Well, and like you mentioned, there's two parts to that. One is, you've mentioned a couple times that you guys have been able to assist with first responders and groups that are out there. I saw on social media and heard that you guys have had catering trucks that have been able to go to some of the shelters and facilities as well and assist?
Yeah, we've been also fortunate in that regard. We have dropped off stuff at a lot of shelters, at George R. Brown, at Methodist, at various churches in the area, and for first responders. We've been lucky in that, we're in Houston, and people are really great here, and we've had wine reps coming in and doing some of those drop-offs for us. We've had guests come in and pick up stuff. All of our restaurants have operated as a donation drop-off site, so we've been able to collect a lot of product as well, clothing, bedding, toiletries, you name it, so that we can turn around and send it out. I mean, we have a lot of agencies working right now in Houston besides restaurants to kind of feed people. I mean, the Houston Food Bank is doing a tremendous job.
Right.
And, if you get the chance to go online, that's one of the great local agencies that you can donate to support the cause.
Absolutely.
They work tirelessly throughout the year to focus on the city of Houston. Right now, they're a particularly good agency because they have those channels of volunteers, and they're in touch with all the shelters and the people. And so, if you want to, you can look online at hfe.convivio.net/Harvey and donate to them, or just Google Greater Houston Food Bank.
Yeah, we will.
That's one great way you can
We'll
help
absolutely make sure that in closing up the segment and doing the things that we list this where we can, because that's a fantastic point. A lot of this you see from the global charitable perspective, but to know how to help the local ones that are actually in the most need is very important. And I've heard that you guys have been a part of that. Now, going forward, is it seem like there's a plan that'll be able to start to get in place? Because, if things get back on track, your convention business, your hotels start to fill up again, hopefully in the coming weeks, you've got a lot of restaurants that are going to be in recovery mode for a long period of time, from what it sounds like. I mean,
I think the future this year for restaurants, it's going to be a tough road, I think, for a lot of them. I mean, even if they didn't have flood damage, if their neighborhood has lost a lot of people or lost a lot of homes, the number of visitors that may think Houston's not visitable, which is not true. I mean, yeah, this city flooded, but it's designed to be able to flood and abate. I mean, I could take you outside and show you completely dry, walkable streets all around the city of Houston,
right,
much of which are in the center of Houston where visitors go to. So I've encouraged people to continue to go to Houston and support this town. I mean, if you had this sort of event occur in New York or Chicago or LA, I'm not sure any other large city in the United States could get back on track as quickly as we will.
Right.
That said, it's going to be a grind to be able to keep your audience coming in and financially keep all the restaurants in the city going in the way they need to. I mean,
so that's a really good point, is that the recovery effort of that is that Houston has a very big tourism and hospitality base. So for people to understand that and know that, I hope that the word can continue to get out, and we'll do our best here, in the New England area. But you're right, it is something that people need to know, that they need to still come and support. And if they have that ability to be able to get into your airports and get into the city, it is something that they shouldn't be canceling widespread. The recovery.
Yeah, I mean, last year we did over 20 million visitors to the city of Houston. So we are growing every year. Our Greater Houston Visitors Bureau is very good at promoting the city. We do a lot of pro-business stuff, but yeah, it's there's that viewpoint of people and how they think about a place that has a disaster, that, I should stay away from there for a while. I wouldn't say that about Houston. I mean, aside from wanting you to support our city, we are one of the great cities in America. We are the most diverse city in America. We're a great food town. We are a great people town that are kind and thoughtful and all that kind of welcoming people.
Yeah, you definitely have a beautiful city there, and I do believe that the recovery on that end, from your perspective, the esteem that you all have and how you're coming together. We're hearing constantly about how it's, the members of many different communities are coming together to work on this. So going forward, you said that you have 4 more restaurants that are set to opening in the coming days?
Yeah, so we've got 3 open. We're working on our 4th one getting open. I don't know when the airport will get back open. We just opened up the one at the medical center, so I mean, a lot of them are doing limited menus, getting towards full menu.
Okay.
We have charity fundraising on all the menus, so drinks and other things. We're still collecting donations, and then on the side, we're again working with other people in our community to send product out. So that's our goal for the foreseeable future.
So do you feel in getting those restaurants open that you're comfortable that your staffs will have jobs and work to be able to come back to?
Yeah.
Good.
We obviously want our doors open so our staff has a place to go, so our community has a place to go. We're a successful, knock on wood, restaurant group. We feel like we offer a good place for our employees. A lot of them have been with us a long time.
Right.
And so hopefully they can get back to work and the community will support them and they can start bringing their income, because even the best restaurants, waiters and bartenders and kitchen staff still often live paycheck to paycheck. I mean, we had our HR team in there as soon as we could this week,
Right.
so that we could start getting our payroll done and our checks out in time for when our staff would normally receive them.
Well, I give you a lot of credit for that, because it's with so much to concentrate on and going on down
What you got to
there.
do to take care of the people that take care of you, and that's our community and our staff. It's not easy, but working for great people like Tracy Vaughn and Hugo Ortega makes that possible.
That's excellent. That's a really good thing to hear. Do you know if there's any plans or thoughts that's going on for the restaurant community where restaurants were damaged? Is there going to be things, do you think, that'll pop up to be able to take some of those employees to come into other restaurants, or find them things in the meanwhile while they're recovering?
So I've seen some stuff online with the Greater Houston Restaurant Association that's offering, financial aid to people that are going to be out of job for a while. I've seen some message boards pop up on people that can take on staff in the interim. But it'll be a group effort on that part, because there's a lot of places that are not going to be open anytime soon.
Right. Well, the fact that effort started is a good thing. Right. Well, I know that you guys have got a lot going on. I know that you're trying to get your menus and stuff up. I really appreciate you taking the time today. We'll make sure that we do all we can down here, or up here I should say, to promote the message that Houston is still a great place to go, that people should visit it, and I know that you guys are all coming together. So we wish you all the best. Thank you again for making the time. We are all thinking of you.
Thank you for talking to us, and appreciate any of your followers helping rebuild Houston and donate to the Houston Food Bank or the Mayor of Houston's Relief Fund.
Thank you, Shauna. We will.
Thank you.
Take care.